Well, now, if I'm going to spin this yarn proper, I best loosen up my tongue with the memory of that night. The night we first laid eyes on Jon Levi. It was a cold, damp evening in San Francisco, the kind that clings to your bones and makes you question if you ever really been warm. Me and Johnny had just finished poking around the ruins of Sutro Baths, where the melted brick told a story that didn't sit quite right in the history books. We was quiet, contemplating the mysteries that weighed heavy on our minds when the city itself seemed to hush like it knew something was about to happen. And then he arrived. He didn't make a fuss, didn't come in with no parade or fanfare, but when he and his peculiar caravan rolled through the fog-shrouded streets, you felt something. The kind of feeling that made the hairs on your neck stand at attention and your gut tighten like you were about to learn something you had no business knowing. His wagon train was modest but curious. A single covered wagon pulled by a pair of sturdy oxen that looked like they'd walked the length of the world and weren't bothered by it. And following along, a luxury chuck wagon, gleaming with brass trim and a strange shine that didn't match the wear of the wheels. It was packed with provisions we hadn't seen in years. Old world grains, dried exotic fruits, salted meats that smelled of spices long forgotten. Enough to feed a crowd. But Jon Levi? He was a man of simple tastes. And then there were the critters. Oh, the critters. Chief. Now there was a dog, or something close to it. Looked more like a dingo than any coyote I'd ever seen, with fur the color of desert sand and eyes that could see through time if you looked at him too long. He didn't bark, didn't growl, just watched, always watching. And the bobcats? Well, they weren't no ordinary cats. Long-tailed with eyes like molten gold, and they moved with a grace that said they weren't born in this world. Domesticated, but only just. Like they was humoring Jon Levi by sticking around. Now Jon Levi himself, Lord help me, I ain't never seen a man like him before or since. Tall and lean, with a face carved by time and wisdom. Amish, if you just took a glance, with that long white beard flowing down to his chest. But it was his eyes that gave him away. Dark as midnight, but with the spark of eternity in them. And his clothes? Worn, patched, but clean, stitched with a precision that spoke of a man who had seen more than his share of sunsets. Judah, that's where I hail from, boy. But it ain't the Judah you're thinking of. That's what he said the first time I asked him where he was from. And when he said it, it was like the wind itself carried the weight of forgotten ages. He spoke with a slow, measured cadence, French-Canadian twang, but with the quiet dignity of a man who had seen empires rise and fall, and he knew things. Esoteric riddles, the kind that made Johnny squint real hard and me scribble notes faster than a court reporter on trial day. Fort Point. That's where it really happened. That's where he laid down the truths that had us both questioning everything we thought we knew. It was late, real late, the moon hanging heavy and blood red in the sky. The waves crashed against the foundation of that old fort, singing the song of forgotten tides. And Johnny and me, we sat there like two schoolboys waiting for story time. Jon Levi, though, he didn't speak right away. He was looking out past the water, his eyes fixed on a point that only he could see, out beyond the Farallones where the horizon met the flat plain of the world. And when he spoke, his voice echoed like it came from another time entirely. I seen it happen with my own eyes, he said, voice barely louder than the wind but heavy enough to make the world listen. The Aether Storm, the one that melted the heartland, left the Grand Canyon as a scar to remind men that they don't understand what they tamper with. Johnny leaned forward, eyes wide, but I was already scribbling down every word. The land didn't just crack, it folded. The power, oh, the power. They harnessed it from the grid lines, pulling it through their false towers and making the land itself convulse. The top hatters knew. They always knew. But they didn't stop it. They let it happen, sanitized it, blamed it on nature, and then buried the truth so deep that not even the roots of Johnny's trees could find it. I felt a chill run through me as he spoke. The images in my mind, cities melting, bricks twisting into impossible shapes, rivers rerouted in an instant. And Jon Levi? He had seen it. And now they use the timelines, he said, eyes narrowing as if peering through the veil. Hundreds of them, running simultaneously, change in events just enough to keep the truth buried. Johnny let out a low whistle, his hat tipped back as he took it all in. Well, and you reckon they're still doing it? Jon Levi gave a slow, solemn nod. Oh, they ain't stopped, Johnny. They just got better at hiding it. And that's when he showed us the maps. Ancient scrolls, laid out with precision on the cold stone of Fort Point. Lands beyond the poles, continents we were never told about. The real Tartaria, hidden behind veils of timelines. Johnny was captured, like a child staring into the abyss of the cosmos. And me? I was scribbling so fast, I'm surprised my pen didn't catch fire. When he was done, Jon Levi leaned back, his eyes heavy with the weight of centuries of knowledge. You boys think you've been playing with bricks and seeds, but you've been building on a stage, and the play ain't over. We sat there in silence for a long time after that, listening to the wind whistle through the arches of Fort Point, the moon hanging like a quiet witness to what we just heard. Johnny looked at me with that glint in his eye and whispered, "Brick brother, we just met the man who knows how the whole dang game is played." And me? I just kept scribbling, because Jon Levi wasn't just telling stories, he was showing us the truth.